lion's den.
Hey, what's up, brother?
What's up?
What's going on, my man? Back in the lion's den.
Back in the lion's den. I think today's topic is a topic that needs to be touched because a lot of people are kind of dealing with this topic and not knowing. And that topic will be Agent Provocateurs and how they done infiltrated many different movements throughout the span of time, should I say. Not just right now, way back into the Egyptian pharaoh days.
Yeah, well, you have to understand that, every nation has had its spies. A nation cannot survive without spies, without agent of provocateurs, without Sherlock Holmes type investigative ass, in the streets we call snitches. So, you know what I'm saying? You look at it from that perspective, you go back all the way to ancient Rome. Even in the Bible, Herod told his spies to go look for Jesus. So, we hear about these agents of provocateurs, but you have a certain caliber of agents. You have the ones who work clandestine. They get into the organizations and they penetrate the organization. Once they penetrate the organization, they learn the ways of the organization. They learn their ways, their mores. They learn their customs and their byways and their bylaws. And then they take that and they use it, in order to destroy it or to basically expose the organization. So we know that right now they have a thing called black extremists. And because of that, a lot of these so-called social media organizations, they are working hand in hand with the government and with certain agents in order to bring about the demise of black consciousness, being aware of oneself, understanding your enemy and your diabolical enemy, the one who is perpetrating and the one who is trying to penetrate your thought process, penetrate your movement and your organization. So we know that these people are real. We know that, certain people are on the internet, and we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it with the Russian collusions. If you look at what the Russians was doing, they were sending out fake news. They were sending out fake beefs. They were saying, to the Black Lives Matter, that you guys ain't nothing, and y'all a bunch of niggas, and they'll say to the Ku Klux Klan, F y'all, Black Lives Matter, and they was trying to basically stir up chaos and confusion amongst the races, cause a catastrophe amongst the races, so it could be catastrophic and somebody end up getting, seriously hurt. But, these were Russian agents.
Right.
So we have that going on in America too. You have guys that get on the internet and they'll say something crazy about you, or they'll say something crazy about me, or they'll take a side with this individual, or take a side with that individual, so they can, make it seem like me and you, or me and that individual, or you and that individual have beef, so it can spark up beef. And hopefully the plan is that you and I go so hard at each other that we eventually threaten violence on one another, and we end up hurting each other, or we end up, another black man against another black man, or another white man against a white man, or a black man against a white man, or a white man against a black man. And that's what these agents and provocateurs do. But we got to be very strategic. Yeah. And I always tell people, read my book. I'm going to say it again, read my book, because my book, I clearly point out in my book, and I really just hit the nail with the hammer, and I said, look, a real general wins the battle before he go to war. The only way you're going to defeat your enemy is you got to know your enemy, you got to know the terrain, you got to know how to fight, you got to know how to win the battle before you even go out into the battlefield. And that's where we can, get over and kind of, get away from all this agent of provocateurs. We got to know when there's some type of insurgent. So when there's some type of insurrection or something on the part, of our movements and our organizations, the only way to know that is to know how to win. The art of human chess.
Right.
Having a master plan.
Okay, as far as, the Black Panthers, how when the 80s hit, that's when crack cocaine came in, and that's when it seemed like the downfall of the Panthers was really, leading its way of, being out.
Well, Mr. Farrakhan said in the nation. I even it's an interview of this light-skinned guy. He talks about how he was able to infiltrate the nation of Islam and and go in there and call the white man the devil and and say the black man is God and all of this stuff. But he really was an agent and he was working on behalf of the government to try to bring down the nation of Islam. The same thing happened with the Panthers. The Panthers didn't lose. The Panthers didn't fall because of their policies or because of their movement or their structure. They fell because they had agents within the movement that was there to try to provoke certain things and say certain things that gave the government probable cause to go in there. Like, say, for instance, if you and I are riding in the car, right, and you're an agent and you put an ounce of cocaine in the car, what you did was you gave the government probable cause in order to, arrest me and to harass me, even though I'm not selling drugs. Right. But that's what an agent or provocateur do. He provoke things. He make it, where person, put himself in a position where he can get caught up and almost be independent. He can't defend himself. So basically, because like he's planting a seed. He's planting a seed for them to come in there and harvest. What they're trying to harvest, to make it legit, like putting poison into water. Okay, for example, Malcolm X. Most of the people that was in Malcolm X's ear was not the brothers from the Nation of Islam, but it was the agents. Malcolm, you better than Elijah. Malcolm, you this. Malcolm, you that. Malcolm, this here, Malcolm this, you should be the leader, Malcolm. Malcolm, you smarter than a lot of Elijah Muhammad. And because of that, being an agent of provocateur, that gets in your head after a while. That's what they do. They get in your head. They try to sway you, away from the movement so you can become an antagonist or you become, an enemy within the state. And, their job is to make sure that you become the enemy. And then, therefore, if Elijah and Malcolm is few, then when Malcolm decides to leave, then some of the followers that love Malcolm follow him, and then some of the followers that follow out of Elijah Muhammad follow him, and that creates chaos. And the same thing with Huey Newton. You had H. Rap Brown, you had Bobby Seals, factions of the different movements, and also you had the government, the agents and provocateurs telling these guys, hey man, you're better than Bobby, you're better than Huey, Huey's a dope fiend, Bobby's a crackhead, whatever they were saying, but they was creating confusion and diversion in the movement, Yeah. So, we see that today on the internet. We see a lot of people getting on the internet, if they see that you're another person part ways, they're going to try to shoot out certain things, in order to try to create confusion. And hopefully, you and this brother get into it. And, like, example, when me and my brothers, I ain't going to say, man, rest in peace. Everybody should know when me and him was going through it, man. It was a whole bunch of people, saying things, a whole bunch of people, trying to cause confusion and trying to keep me and that brother from uniting because what we had built was so strong, amongst the movement that, we were eventually going to become multimillionaires. Right. But, it was an element in society that didn't want that to happen. So I believe personally that, the government hired certain individuals, as antagonists who came in and agent of provocateurs to try to create friction between me and that brother. And it almost became irreconcilable. Me and the brother couldn't even talk to each other because the hatred that got that thick because people was telling him, this is this, this is that, this is that, this. And, after a while, people believe those things and they think, wow, this must be really going on. And then also, when you start, creating that type of environment where people start spreading fake news and fake information, other people, become what I call bandwagons. They become copycatters. They just start saying things just to say it, to get some attention. And then it begins to snowball and then it get out of control. And next thing you find yourself defending something undefended where you can't even defend it, because it got too out of pocket, what I'm saying? And, the smoke is so thick, you don't even want to, reconsider it, and that's what happens. That's what happens.
Too cool to count 24/7.